New information on what is happening with this weather pattern, including what's going on with this tropical activity across the southeast. Showing it has dipped even further south with the trough. This is giving it a chance to strengthen a little bit more, but at the same time, it's leaving it very elongated and getting it extended to where it's hard to get a center on this storm. Now, this is still bringing a lot of heavy rainfall and has shifted further towards the east on the amount, except for Florida. Still showing Florida is going to get the most. Now, I do have some new information on our air quality. The numbers are still very concerning and very high, everybody. Now, the weather pattern that we are in, we have all of our storms coming around this big high pressure ridging and going from an east to an westward motion over here across the south, bringing a lot of flooding, including a lot of little vortices that spin up, bringing more storms, bringing heavier rainfall than expected. So this is going up even more. Even right now, we have a lot of flooding going on over here for Texas. Right now, there's a lot of streets that are closed and impassable, and the storms are moving further north through northern Texas, through the DFW area right now, and we're getting storms across the southwest as well. Now, this weather pattern is still going to continue and bring the storms all the way up towards Montana. It's going to be a little here and there for today. And you can see we have the storms coming across for the Four Corners, going from Wyoming into Montana, and this is going to be there in the same locations for tomorrow. So it's bringing the thunderstorms right back. It's not going to be widespread. It's going to be isolated in nature, a little here and there. Just be aware of the storms in your area, and it's going to build up for Texas more as we go through for tomorrow into Friday, a little bit further towards the west than what you're getting for today. So you can see for today, our outlook, there's a lot of little marginals all over the place. It looks like United States has chicken pox, but there is a threat for tornadoes right here for Texas. So here's your cities in Texas at threat for a potential spin up for today. The other areas is going to be chances for low level winds, maybe a gust up to 40 to 50 miles per hour wind gust. But so far, here's your cities and states at risk for possible winds for the rest of today. Now, our latest outlook with National Hurricane Center, the afternoon update, is still the same, showing 20% in the next 7 days, nothing in the next 48 hours. Chance for something to form as this generally moves northeast along that front. But still, regardless of development, this is still going to bring a big flood threat, now showing bigger for Florida than anybody else. And we do have this over here into the MDR, the main development region, is going towards an unconducive, unfavorable environment. Nothing is happening with that neither. And you can see the latest outlook for this afternoon as we go through early next week. Chance for formation along the Gulf has gone down, has a chance towards 20, towards a 30% chance now. It was a little bit more this morning, but not much more. And you see as we go into the weekend, that's where it builds up for that to come right back towards the northeast. Another 20 to 30% chance for something to form. But still showing after we go by next weekend, we have another trough of cooler air coming through, bringing another threat towards the northeast. Showing it on our latest on the ensemble, at least for the Google Mines. Showing it as we go through for Saturday into Sunday, this is where it's going to start moving across Florida. And when we check for the chances for any kind of formation, still showing it's a very weak chance, but you see showing maybe a low pressure will form and come right along that front, right along the Gulf Coast. And you see chances for a tropical storm the whole time. So it will bring some winds if this comes into fruition, but it'll also bring that flooding threat. Now, a few things to talk about because it's starting to drift a little bit further south. Now, what we want to watch out for is this is your sea surface temperatures. So if you see all this darker brown going towards that light brown, that's going towards 30 degrees Celsius. That's going towards your high 80 degrees Fahrenheit, 85 or more. Now, when you start going even higher and you start going towards that 31 and 32 degrees Celsius, this is where you're going to the high 80s, even hitting 90. So when it taps into all these very warm temperatures, this is what's going to help these thunderstorms grow rather quickly. But there's a few other factors. Now, when you look at your anomaly, you can see we have a big above average temperature anomaly kicking in all the way from the eastern Gulf all the way towards the southeast coast. But there's another thing that you need to look at, our loop current. So our loop current is there all the time, and this brings a lot of warmer temperatures all around this current, and it feeds into systems that form right here off the southeast coast of the Gulf. So you need to watch out for the loop current, because the further south we're seeing that system come, the more warmer waters down below, and I'm talking about your deep ocean heat, the warmer waters below, when a system starts strengthening up, it starts upwelling. That upwelling effect brings the temperatures down below to the top, and instead of cooler temperatures, it's going to bring some very warm temperatures. And when you take the latest information on our deep ocean heat content, you can see it's going all the way to the loop current with very warm waters. So if it does get any kind of strength over here towards the eastern side, mostly from the center to the eastern side of the Gulf, so if it goes any deeper with that trough or even a cutoff low, which would be a worst case scenario, we're not seeing a cutoff low, it would dig into a lot of these temperatures below and help it strengthen a little bit more like we're seeing in the ensembles. And you can see this when you look at your latest run by the Euro. So as it starts getting a little bit deeper as we go through for a Saturday, it brings those warmer temperatures from the Gulf and the loop current, and it feeds that storm all the way through Sunday. So that would help strengthen up even more. Even if it hinders some dry air, it just will bring a lot more precipitation to the issue. Whether you get a low pressure or not, it would bring a dangerous flooding threat. Now, this is your precipitable water, and you can see that as of the latest update, it shows it just stays along that front and just brings a big flood threat for most of the week, the first half of it for sure. Showing in the dynamics that we still have this high pressure on the western side. This is going clockwise. High pressure goes clockwise, low pressure goes counterclockwise. We still got a big high pressure over here bringing everything into this direction as well, while we get that low pressure forming right in between, showing it stays bundled up right along the eastern Gulf Coast. And then it just sits there and spins, and it gets all that warm energy from the Gulf, and it tries to strengthen up. Then the trough comes through, and it's already too late by Sunday. Elongates it, stretches it out. It tries again to form over here by the Carolinas, and then it still stretches that back out where it can't do anything. Now you have a big high pressure going all the way across the Gulf, so it would smush anything after that point. Showing the dry air still tries to get in it, but you can see it's combating that dry air and keeping moisture around the center. Still, you can see a big pocket of it where the dry air does get towards the core of that system, and it really hinders it, and it can't get vertically stacked. It can't get a lot of precipitation around the center, and it just keeps it pushed along the whole time, creating this big front multiple days, bringing a lot of rainfall, which is a way better scenario than any strong tropical storm or a hurricane. So you definitely, no matter what, whether it forms or not, you definitely got the flooding issue. Showing the latest by the Euro, that you can see that it stays big and broad all over Alabama, Georgia, Florida, even portions of South Carolina, all the way until Tuesday, just sitting there, a big rotating group of disorganized thunderstorms. So we did see this weaken down some from earlier when we saw this have a little moment of intensity. So you can see this on the latest run. That has weakened down as of the afternoon update. It gets real big and real broad. Just brings more widespread impacts, which makes this non-tropical, and the thunderstorms would be all around the outside instead of around the center. But then it still gets squished with that front, and it elongates all the thunderstorms. Now, when you try and find a trend, you go by the Canadian. It's also seeing that trough coming through, still trying to build somewhere over here by Tampa, but still showing that it will be somewhat weak and go up the coast, and maybe it'll form somewhere later right up the East Coast. So we definitely need to watch it. If not for what builds by Florida, bringing this big flood threat, we need to watch it and make sure it don't form up real quick over here by the Mid-Atlantic and bring more tornado winds, maybe even more of a bigger flood threat towards the Northeast. So here's where we're at with the ensemble. So you can see first with GFS, it's taking that low pressure building over here along Georgia and going up the coast, and maybe something can form towards the northeast. When you go by the Canadian, it takes that low pressure right here by Florida by Sunday morning, and then it strengthens up as it goes right up the coast. Kind of seeing what GFS is seeing for the northeast, but GFS is missing this whole piece down here of all this convection going on. Now that's actually trending between the Canadian and the Euro. You can see this here. The latest update with the Euro confirms that once we go through for Sunday morning, low pressure right there, right off the coast, but shows it actually has a great chance to strengthen still everybody right there on the warm waters and just building before it finally comes across and goes out through the east. We're still seeing a piece go off towards the west as well. Now, so far, from what I'm seeing, the latest update this afternoon, this going towards the west would be the outlier because the majority is showing towards the east. Well, we still need to watch it. Even showing if we get a group of thunderstorms sitting there, we can still get a low pressure, that big green and white spot you saw. We can still get a somewhat weak low pressure of just a group of disorganized thunderstorms that could just sit there and rotate for a number of days, bringing more of a flood threat. The latest on the rainfall rates, you can see it's starting to pick up a little bit over here by the mid-Atlantic, but still pushes right offshore with the majority of the heaviness. Plus, you still have what's coming for Texas all the way towards the Four Corners. This is going to happen for this week as well. And the flooding across the southeast. Now, good to note, once you go past 6 days, then that's what's adding up over here along the mid-Atlantic. And what comes through with that jet stream in that trough later is what adds up towards more rainfall for y'all. But just for the next 5 days, you can see the amount of rainfall that's coming through for the southeast. Then it adds up as that moves further towards the east coast. But it really sits there and brings all this flooding along western Florida. So please pay attention to this. Over here for Texas and the south, showing another 2 to 3 inches of rainfall is still coming your way. It's going to push a little bit further towards the west, not really over San Antonio. It should go further and further west. And over here across the southwest, all this rainfall coming in for New Mexico, Arizona, also for Utah, going into Nevada. Also for Colorado, western and central Colorado, getting an inch or so, but this is quite some time away. This is still showing it's going to be sometime after 5 days before that weather pattern really kicks in for y'all. I know Colorado really needs to rain, but it looks like it could start coming your way going around this high pressure, this high dome of heat that's going to be in the south that I showed you this morning. So the rainfall could come your way shortly after that. Now let's talk about this air quality because this is insane, everybody. And the numbers I see coming is still going up. So look what we have right now. This is a live look right now. And remember, once you're going into that red, that's going for unhealthy. Once you're going towards that purple, that's very unhealthy. Then when you have that brown color, that is just hazardous air quality. And you can see this is going all towards northern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, bringing very bad air quality all the way from very unhealthy all the way to the hazardous air quality. Now, this is what I'm showing is going to come further in as we go through for tomorrow. And it's going to go further into Michigan as well. And you see right now we have that orange across the northeast. That's bad for sensitive groups like asthma and such. This right here is a crazy number. And look at the latest update. So as we go through the evening, those numbers of 400 and 500 look like they come down just a little bit, but we still have 200 and 300 going across. But look for tomorrow. This is tomorrow morning. Look how this pushes further in for tomorrow evening, everybody, all the way until Friday morning. Still showing very high numbers. Some of these are going all the way towards 400, towards 600. So please be aware, we still have all this bad air quality. It's going to be there for tomorrow. It's going to be there for Friday as well. Now, another update, just like I showed you this morning. Our temperatures are going to be above average towards the west coast and the southeast. It's going to be a little below average right here because we have the thunderstorms going on. But you see the average to the below average coming across for the Great Lakes out through the northeast. And when you go for the 2 weeks, you can see that sits there and builds, everybody. And our rainfall outlook, our precipitation. You see a big area of above average that is coming. So be aware of the flooding, and you can see it along the east coast going towards the northeast as well. So make sure you're ready for this temperature swing we're about to go into, everybody, and make sure you always support the data. Got a new shirt coming out. Look at this. The data is never wrong. So thank you to everybody that helps support the channel, and tell me what you think of the new shirt. And before I go, a quick word from our Father, everybody. Psalm 121. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, He that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth, even forevermore. Amen. Thank you for your time, everybody. And remember, above all things, all glory does go to God, our Father in heaven, Yahweh. And I always hope he keeps you safe every single day of your life and forever. Amen. Hallelujah. Amen. Have a great day, everybody.